Hey boys, what's going on? I'm back with the North Queensland Cowboys. We're gonna have a look at their likenesses, their ratings, that sort of business. Let's get into it. JT, obviously, I actually haven't looked through all the teams, but I'm expecting JT to be the highest rated. I think he was 95 in the old fan hub, so hasn't changed too much. And I mentioned this a couple of videos ago that the only thing I would like is the superstars like JT to be slightly higher, or just everyone to be slightly lower, to just have more emphasis on the real star players of the game. But in saying that, you don't want overpowered players, so it's not too bad. I do like the fact that Matt Scott next is a 90, and that's one thing that's changed. Most of the forwards, actually not most, all of the forwards have gotten massive stat increases, which is good. Is really good, because honestly, in Rugby League Live 2, forwards were pretty useless, I gotta be honest. Unless the backs had really bad tackling, you'd be better with faster players, honestly. So hopefully the forwards make a good impact in this game. Then we got Michael Morgan, and this likeness is pretty good, I've gotta say. I think that's a pretty decent Michael Morgan, playing exceptionally well this season. I think he's sort of slowed off a bit the last few weeks. I think it's been because of Origin, but hopefully he can pick his form back up to where it was. Lachlan Coote, this is his first real season at the Cowboys. It was punctuated last year with injury, which is a shame, because he was like the big signing for Cowboys, which really didn't turn out too well. But this year, he's been one of their best players, honestly, and the likeness is really good, gotta say. Looks really good. Oh, Lachlan Coote. Jake Granville. I knew this kid was gonna be a superstar in the NRL. You can just tell. The likeness is okay. Actually, it's not that good, but I watch a lot of Queensland Cup because I think Queensland Cup is very entertaining. If you don't watch Queensland Cup, I highly suggest that you do. It's not only really entertaining, but it's very good quality. Like, the teams in that just have very good players, and I feel like it's better than New South Wales Cup. It's probably biased me talking, but it's not filled with NRL players. It's filled with a lot of local players that are just a rung behind NRL players. They're just not up to that level, but they're all decent players, and then you get the mix of these ex-NRL players. And Granville is one of those types that were a bit of a standout in the Intrust Queensland Cup, and he showed it this year. He's been outstanding. James Tarmo, gotta say, I fucking hate James Tarmo. I can't stand that he plays for the Cowboys, because obviously I like the Cowboys, but I fucking hate James Tarmo. He is an absolute dog of a player. But he plays for the Cowboys, and he's a good player, obviously, but I hate him as a person. Well, not as a person, I don't know him as a person, but as a player, I just don't like him. He's not a player I like to watch play. He's just a bit of an arsehole, really. But the likeness is really good. I think it looks exactly like him. Poor old Tamo, I'm giving him a bit of a spray. Jason Taumalolo. I mean, jeez, man. I look at Taumalolo, and I think he's still only 21, right? He's still 20 or 21. That is ridiculous. I think the likeness is not that good. It's pretty good, but this kid, he's still a kid, my god. He is an absolute freak of a player. He's unbelievable. I really wish he was a Queenslander, but he wanted to play for New Zealand, and credit to him, man. He chose to play for his country, which is, big props. Big props to him. He could have easily, chosen to play for Queensland and played for years, but he chose loyalty, and I respect that. But I would have loved to see him in the Queensland jumper, dude. Roy Cross Jason, ex-Melbourne player. I gotta say the likeness isn't that good, but another just a solid player, really. Not a superstar, but good player. Good backup hooker. Gavin Cooper, been outstanding the last couple of years, really. Cooper's been good. This likeness is okay. I feel like these Cowboys likenesses are sort of letting me down a bit, but it's not too bad. I think that just the color of the hair is a bit wrong. Then we got Glenn Hall. I really wish Glenn Hall would lead the Cowboys. I feel like Glenn Hall is someone who's taking up a fair chunk of the salary. You know, Glenn Hall has played over 200 games. He's won a premiership. He wouldn't be like a really cheap player to have on your roster, but he doesn't play. He's like in the Queensland Cup, and he's like a decent player in the Queensland Cup now. I just would rather him just leave the Cowboys because I feel like he's taking up a bit of the salary cap for not even adding anything. But that's just my opinion. He was obviously a good player a few years ago, but I think he's a bit past it now. Robert Louis. I can't stand Robert Louis, I've got to say. You know, he's not a bad player. He's got a lot of talent in attack, but his defense, and I don't understand it because when he's got the ball in hand, he's pretty quick. Like, he's obviously not the fastest, but in defense, he is literally like a bloody truck trying to turn. I've watched a few games when he's played, and if someone makes a breakthrough through him or to the side of him, he's just there jogging along, not even sprint. It really just, it really makes me mad watching him play in defense. He can be brilliant in attack, but his defense is so bad. Again, he shouldn't be in the starting. He should not play for the Cowboys, in my opinion. He's a good second stringer, but he's not a first grader, in my opinion, at the moment. If he works on his defense, he could be, but not at the moment. Ray Thompson. I really like Ray Thompson as a player. He's had a few injuries, and most of those injuries have actually been from like illegal tackles. I remember like when he got like shoulder charged by dickhead Fafita, like broke his jaw last year, and then a couple other times he got high shots that put him out for a while. But really good player. I like Thompson as a player. Matthew Wright. And the Cowboys, the one thing you'd probably look at is their backline not being that good, but they have a lot of players like Matthew Wright and Tautau Moga who are just solid, you know. They've got potential to be really good, but they perform every week. So yeah, you might look at their backline and think it's not that decent, but honestly they're and probably Thurston makes them look a lot better. I mean, with Thurston in your team, he can make anyone look good, but the Cowboys just have a good 17. You know, their whole 17 is good. Scott Bolton. Like a couple of years ago, I used to really like Scott Bolton. I thought he was one of the best forwards for the Cowboys, but I feel like this year he's sort of, and last year to an extent, he's sort of gone downhill. I don't know why that is, but the likeness is not that good. Kyle Felt. He's really talented, you know. I watch him in the Queensland Cup and I think, you know, how I really wonder how NRL team hasn't signed him up yet, because he doesn't really get too much game time with the Cowboys. But he's a very talented player. Ben Hennett. Likeness is pretty good. Not too bad. Kane Lynette. I never really liked Lynette at the Roosters. I thought he was like an average player, but ever since he went to the Cowboys, he's proven to me, and he's proven me wrong, that he's actually a really good player. He's got like surprisingly good amount of speed. His defense is pretty good. Like, he's really strong. Yeah, he really surprised me when he moved to the Cowboys. Like, when I first heard that Lynette was going to the Cowboys, I was like, why the fuck would you sign someone like Lynette? But it's been pretty good. Tautau Moga, you know, he's one of these guys that people highly rate, and he's a future superstar. Well, potential superstar, but he's been pretty solid without being a superstar. But hopefully he can find his potential, because I think he does have the potential to be something special. Justin O'Neill. I don't know, Justin O'Neill. He's always talked up as like a real speedster, but other than that, I don't know. I don't know if he's that good. He's pretty, like, he's a good player. He's a good NRL player, but I don't think he's anything better. Likeness is pretty decent though. Tonio Winterstein, I really enjoy. I just really like him as a player. I was really disappointed when he left the Broncos, but he's been excellent for the Cowboys, and likeness isn't that good. We'll look at a few more. We'll look down to Ethan Lowe. Cameron King here. The Cowboys actually have a lot of dummy halves, don't they? Cameron King was like talked up as being like the starting hooker for a while there, but then he got injured, and then Granville came on the scene. Probably a bit unlucky. Kalepi Tanganoa, he's sort of the mini version of Tamalolo, which is funny because I think Tanganoa is actually older than Tamalolo, but yeah, this likeness is awful because Tanganoa is an absolute giant. You know, he's pretty short, but he is built like a tank, man. He is massive. Really good player. I'm surprised he doesn't play more for the Cowboys, honestly. I think he's got the potential. Ethan Lowe. He's someone who's come on pretty well the last couple of years. Just a good solid second role for the Cowboys. But yeah, that's the Cowboys done and dusted. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. And I'll see you in the next one.